so excited to talk with you today. You're like a ball of energy, and you are like a spitfire. You're a pistol. You're like so enthusiastic, and I feel like your voice is so needed in this industry. So can you introduce yourself and tell me about who you are?
So I'm Kayla Fagan. I am in the DC area and I'm a design director at OTJ Architects. So I'm really excited about that role and what it means. It's kind of my dream role for me. So,
I love that. Wait,
yeah.
what makes it your dream role?
I don't know. It just was the culmination of a lot of change and what I wanted, which was a shift from maybe what I think my pathway had been on. But it's so people centric. It's a direct impact on like being the leader that I wish I had more often in my early years of my career. And so it's a really opportunity for me to feel like I'm growing, changing, adapting, failing, succeeding, and kind of doing all that
Yeah.
live with other imperfect people,
Oh, I love that. It's
doing
like
the thing.
a roller coaster of imperfect people
Yeah.
doing the thing and eventually rising together, right?
Yeah.
And so like rising in your career and rising as an industry is something we talked about a lot. And you had such a fire and a passion for sticking up for your people and boldly like standing up for what you believe in. And I think that's what we need more of in this industry. So we talked about that last night. Like, take me back to that conversation.
So it's just been a lot of expectations. I think the recession took a pretty deep hit in our industry. We still see ripples today from that. And we are in a very big transition, I think, right now on how we treat each other in the workplace, how we, the expectations we have, that what we used to do before clearly wasn't working. It wasn't working then. It's significantly not working now. And I think you're seeing that divide in how firms are changing, adapting, merging, breaking. New firms are popping up. And I'm speaking mostly towards the firm design industry, architecture and interior design industry. But I think you can see that also in furniture, in consultants, and engineering companies. You know, you're seeing it industry wide.
Yeah.
When we're trying to manage expectations, I think we have a very unique opportunity as designers. Our craft and what we are selling is ideas. And that is a very hard sell. And we have to help people understand why it takes time and why it's important in a world where in finance and companies and all these other industries and sectors, it's moving at a pace that is faster than ever. And I think we always say that, right? Everything is always changing and moving faster and faster and faster. But I do think we're at a catalyst point where that has hit a wall. And that the human has felt missing for a long time. And we have been selling why it matters to care about the human being in space for a long time. I think now more than ever, it's not just, do you have an adjustable chair? Yeah. Is there a lounge for you to sit in? It's a lot more than that. I'm having very deep conversations with clients about how they want to change their corporate functioning and how space, ethics, empathy, everything from trauma design, places for people to peel off. People are exhausted when they are in the office. It feels like all people want to do is talk. There's nowhere to go to do my work. And so things have changed so much. I think it's just a really great opportunity. I'll sit and have conversations with CFOs, CEOs, brokers about like, we're not just talking about space. We're talking about humans and everything that comes with it. Those are nice transitions to begin to discuss how long it takes to curate moments and intention in design that captures that. If you have a corporate goal, if you're a landlord and you need to sell property, right? This is a very huge financial decision. You've got to make it attractive, and it's no longer good enough to have pretty space. So it is opening a lot of conversations about, wanting to take the time to do that right.
Yes.
And why it's valuable and having data to kind of back that up, or at the very least, informative information about the results, whether it be retention or otherwise.
Well, what we do is so valuable. Like our processes, our thought, our creativity, the data behind the, what we're designing and doing. And so there's value to the process and value to the people behind it. And one of the things that's so important is like standing up for our profession when we're up against crazy deadlines, crazy cost pressures. Like, how do you advocate for that?
I personally have taken an avenue of really leaning into my network. It was really important to me very early in my career to participate in IIDA and industry events, getting to know the reps, really leaning on my partners. And what that has created is a culture of friendship that I have across my local industry. And when you have that, I think you can have more free conversations with your counterparts in other firms, people that work in brokerage, or people who are PM side. And so you can begin to have open conversations about like, hey, like, I mean, I know you're on that pitch too. Like, what do you think about that timeline?
Yeah.
Right? That's crazy, right? Like,
Yeah.
we all agree it's kind of crazy. And then, later, if you know that someone was on a pitch that you were on and you're like, I know you want it. Congratulations. Like, how are you guys feeling about that? I know that they were very cost centric, and just being open and honest about, guys, like, do you really have the people to meet that? I mean, tell
Yeah.
me honestly, like,
Yeah.
do you have the resources and to accomplish that in that fee? And I want to know, right? This is curiosity, not competition. We have had some great conversations around like, how can we be more realistic as an industry and kind
Yeah.
of all rise together in that?
Right. Well, because like you said, the cost pressures are there, the people pressures. And so what we're committing to is important, but it's also important to look around at the community that you said and say, hey guys, like, let's not do this. Let's
Yeah.
not kill ourselves and kill our teams
I've had
to
very
accomplish this.
blunt conversations with principals and different people at different levels that are just like, I don't think we can keep going at this rate. And kind of everybody sort of agrees. The fees went up, I would say, quite a bit post COVID. We had that huge surge of work. But the cost of expenses to do business have
Yeah.
also gone up. So I think it's a continued conversation.
Yeah.
I think it's more about have you created a design community that is open and honest about talking with each other about this? I would say that in the DMV area we have an excellent IIDA MAC group. I'm very proud to be part of it, and so I am happy that we have open dialogue
That's
regarding
awesome.
this, and I think it's really important
Yeah.
for
And it's needed to move the industry forward. And I think as a collective industry, you're in DC. We just talked to people in New York and LA and Dallas. And can we as an industry align around like, if we're designing for people, we need to design for our people that we're leading in-house. And how do we have these conversations, to your point, to make sure that we're not burning out and hurting the cultures that we're trying to create? But in front of me, I have 3 cards.
Okay.
So design and creativity, people and purpose, career and growth. So I want you to pick a category, pick a card, and answer the question.
Okay, after that we're gonna talk career and growth, so we're just like rolling from
Let's
that
roll it.
one thing to this thing. What's something people usually misunderstand about your work?
Ooh.
We were just talking about this. I think there's still this old school way of thinking that some person somewhere, particularly in the third party management space, is creating a timeline of who and how a certain consultant or a certain role is being introduced into the process. And it's a very traditional, like, you do this first, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then you do that. And I think that's very reactive. It's a very reactive process. And both from of course, from a design perspective, it's so much better to have a holistic approach. But more than that, I think we were talking about expectations. Permits are harder to get. What we have to put in those permits is harder to do. Furniture now requires permits. Low voltage in AV is more important than it ever has been in an office, and you need it everywhere, and you need to not see it, right? We're trying to meet net zero goals and energy and sustainability goals, wellness goals. So I would say that for this, I think people misunderstand that designers are singularly focused in design and that it's an aesthetic obsession, and that when we're making our decisions, it's design first. That is absolutely not what I think our industry represents. We are people first. We are process first. We are functionality, or should be, first.
Yeah.
So when you integrate us earlier in the process, we don't make your life more difficult. We actually make it more streamlined because we're thinking of a million things all at once that all these other players in this field may not be thinking of. We are the composers of all the instruments.
Ooh.
So I think that's something people misunderstand about our role a lot. And I think the most successful projects I've ever done with clients that I would call friends and won awards integrated designers from the very beginning.
Yeah. And that design and that people first is so important to what we do and what we've talked about. But I loved how you said the composers of it all. You know, we're composers of the spaces we create. We're also composers of the design industry we're building. And to your point on these conversations, like it's something we need to continue having and continue encouraging, because those are going to create the best design outcomes. And if we're truly people first, we're having conversations and we're getting to the bottom of what matters and rooting it out so that we can, design forward. Design forward. So, Kayla, thank you so much. This has been awesome chatting with you. I love your perspective and the fire you bring to the industry. So don't stop. Don't stop.
Thank you. All right.